welcome back. What fun things do we have planned for today? Why, flotation. That's what. Got the collar mulcher hooked up. It is Wednesday, and today's the first day it hasn't rained since Sunday. We've gotten somewhere in the vicinity of 4 inches in that time. We were dry before that, so the ground soaked it up good, but it's still kind of wet to be doing any kind of much. But I think what I'm going to do is go roll my new hay seedings that I planted last summer, late summer, early fall. I got the tines all kicked up so they're not going to dig anything. And so this is the closest thing I've got to a roller. You know, wheels in the front, wheels in the back. A little over a week ago, maybe almost 2. But anyways, I went out with the skid steer and picked a bunch of rocks out of it just to be safe, and I found a few. Drill had picked up or kicked up when I was planting the seeding, and I thought, well, this will stay on top despite the ground being on the wet side. It's well drained, but 4 inches is 4 inches, so tractor shouldn't leave any tracks. Should be soft enough for that to help mush stuff down, any rocks I missed, just any unevenness, and help smooth that field out. I thought everybody might like to ride along. I often get the comment on this tractor that it wouldn't have enough power to even turn the wheels. It's a factory option. I'm sure Oliver thought of that. And as a matter of fact, it does have enough power to turn the wheels. The size of the wheels does not determine the engine horsepower. And yes, taller wheels take a little more to turn, but it's all about flotation and stability. After Oliver discontinued its crawler line, they wanted to keep their customers that were in hilly areas that bought the crawlers, and well, this was a good way to do it. The extra wide footprint gave them more stability on side hills, and then they could also market it to the guys wanting flotation. The guy that bought this was actually in the same county as me, and he had a muck farm. He grew onions and turf. And for a long time, I've always wondered what he actually did with this 1650 in the muck. And because the tire's too wide to cultivate, maybe pull a planter or something. Ends up, met the guy that drove this tractor the most for him at a tractor show. And he said they had a small pan scraper. I'm guessing it was 3-point hitch connected. There was a lot of wear on the 3-point hitch arms. But he would build up driveways for all the trucks and everything as they were harvesting onions. He would scrape up dirt, muck, whatever, but build up drives so they didn't get stuck. That was pretty much the purpose of this tractor. And it got the job done. So let's get at it. I'm gonna run in and grab the drone, and for change, it's not ungodly windy, and we'll go have some fun. Just tool around on this baby, enjoy the sunshine. It's in the mid-70s, and I mean, it's just a gorgeous day. Can't think of anything better to do right now. here we are. We've got a nice blend of alfalfa and orchard grass that I planted. Purple dead nettle, chickweed, you know, weeds. But I'm seeing a good stand of alfalfa and lots of orchard grass. You know, first cutting is gonna be a little not clean. Oh, there's a rock. Whoop. Let's see how wet she is. It kind of crumbles apart. I might be able to do other things tomorrow down here. From there on over, or where it's green, is going to be corn. The darker green, because I've already had some nitrogen put on that. But not on this. The alfalfa will make its own nitrogen. Let's get at it. We'll even put it in four-wheel drive just for the heck of it. Don't think it'll need it. So all the way down here. Sometimes you gotta move just a little bit. Get everything to line up in the transfer case, like that. And here we go. We'll start with fourth gear. I don't want to go terribly fast and be bouncing, miss a rock, or start kicking them up with a crowfoot part. Squeak, squeak, squeak. It sounds angry. A branch. That was just down here. Look at that mess. Woohoo! Probably should go get that out of there. Then we can see how things are doing. Yeah, I think I got a good stand. When I was out picking rocks, it looked good, and it's definitely come on a lot more since then. Some warm rains make a difference. Oh yeah. Flattening her down. Maybe I'm gonna kill everything. I doubt it. I doubt it. Here's a bare spot. It's not pushing down that hard on it. Let me get this stick out. Probably should have gotten off first. All right. Let's roll. Literally, you know, seriously. I hear a loud clang, I should know it's a rock. Get off and fetch it. Got it all rolled. Good job, tractor. Good job. Well, as always, I appreciate everybody watching. Hope to see you in the next one.